Hello, my name's Andrew, and this is how to detangle a beard for free without a comb so you can go from dry and poofy to smooth and silky. So back when I first started growing out my beard, one of the first problems I ran into is that my hair is just super curly, and because it's also quite thick, the hairs were like wrapping around each other, at which point my first thought was like, use a comb, right? But it's just so freaking tangled that even when it was wet, I couldn't even get the comb to go all the way through. But one day I was just kind of like playing around with it, and I started running my fingers through it, and I realized, okay, well maybe I can't use a comb, but what about fingers? Basically what I do is just start with my fingers spread out, and I just kind of like put them into the top of the beard so that I'm finding the roots of the hairs. And then I just gently pull down until I start to feel any snags. Like right here, I've got one on my index finger. And it's important to note that I'm really not using any pressure here, because if you pull too hard, it can actually damage the hairs and irritate your skin. So I'm just using very light pressure. And when I find a tangle, essentially what I do is I take my other hand and I just pull the hairs apart. I just work one finger at a time, just kind of separating them like this. You go in between each finger with the other finger. You're just kind of gently pulling the hairs apart. You don't want to apply any pressure here either, because if you pull too hard, you can end up creating knots. And in the beginning, it was almost like too much to even use all of my fingers. So you can just use one finger, just kind of start at the strand and just gently work it down until you feel like you can't go anymore. There's a snag right there. So you just kind of like put your other finger into the loop there, and just gently pull it apart until you separate all the way. Now, sometimes you come up with a snag that just can't be separated, like it's two hairs that have become fully knotted together. And at that point, the thing to do is just to take a pair of scissors and just snip it. You don't want to like yank it apart, because that can damage the hair. It can also, again, irritate your skin. But as you do this more and more, you'll get faster at it, and you can just kind of go along like this, gently separating the hairs. And I just recommend doing this for like 5 minutes a day. It might take you a full hour or two to get all the tangles or most of the tangles out of your beard if you have really, really curly hair and you haven't been able to comb it successfully. But yeah, if you're doing too much all at once, you can kind of start to get beard rash, So for me, just like whenever I'm thinking of it, I'll just kind of do this in the background. Like if I'm watching a movie or listening to a podcast or a YouTube video, something like that. It's just sort of like a meditative, slow, practice to do every day.